Hi everyone out there in Wasabi land. This is Jennifer with Oregon Coast Wasabi, and today we're going to share with you our recipe for pickled wasabi greens. It's very simple and it's really nice as a side dish paired with anything from roasted vegetables to a protein, like as a side, like with a steak or chicken or fish. Anything where you would use something that has a nice slightly spicy taste, slightly salty, spicy, or also something where like if you would use cooked chard or spinach. So this is really traditional way to eat wasabi greens, and this is a quick pickle. So you can do this with things other than wasabi greens. You can do it with chard or kale. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to use sugar and salt, and it's going to soften the greens, and so they're going to have that texture of something pickled, and the salt and sugar are also going to pull out any of the bitterness in the fresh greens, but they're not going to have that fermented or vinegar flavor like you would think with if you buy dill pickles. Okay, so they're not going to have that flavor, but it's a really nice way to eat the wasabi greens. And like I said, super simple, and you can make this while you're cooking dinner, so it doesn't take very long. This isn't like you have to wait for weeks and weeks. Even 20 or 30 minutes and you have a quick pickle. So here are wasabi greens. You can either get these from our website, or hopefully you're growing your own wasabi plants and you can just clip the greens off your own wasabi plants and pickle your own greens that you've grown yourself in your backyard. All right, so fresh wasabi greens, you've washed them, so clip them off of your plant, wash them as you would any other green, and then we're going to take them and we're going to just roughly chop them. So they're going to be pickled and they're going to soften. So this doesn't have to be super accurate or precise. It doesn't have to be all exactly the same size. Just in general, you want to make the pieces a little bit smaller so that when you go to eat a piece, you don't have this huge leaf that you're trying to eat all at once. So roughly chop them. And that's really about all we need to do. And then the recipe for this is for a pound of wasabi leaves, you're going to use 2 tablespoons of salt and 6 tablespoons of sugar. So again, 2 tablespoons of salt, 6 tablespoons of sugar. So first we're going to just take a Ziploc bag, or really any plastic bag is fine. Doesn't have to be airtight. We're going to just shove our wasabi greens into the plastic bag. And we include the stems. The stems will pickle too, so you don't have to cut the stems off of the leaves. You can use the whole thing. So put them in the bag. And then again, 2 tablespoons of salt and 6 tablespoons of sugar per pound. Close up the bag. And then this is such an easy recipe. It's something fun you could do with your kids, because the next part of this is you basically just want to smush them. So you're smushing them because you want to bruise the leaves. And by bruising the leaves, you're basically providing places on the leaves where the salt and sugar can penetrate. Okay, so just smush it around in the Ziploc bag. Make sure that the salt and sugar are pretty evenly distributed, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so there you go. That's our leaves mixed with the salt and sugar. So now you did this, it took just a few minutes. Set it aside. If you're gonna use it in say 20 or 30 minutes, you don't even have to put it in the refrigerator. If you want it to pickle overnight, then stick it in the fridge. So basically this can work, this quick pickle can work anywhere from letting them sit like this for 20 to 30 minutes, or you can let them sit overnight. So it's not going to do them any harm if you let them sit overnight. They're not going to like over pickle or anything like that. So take this bag. We're going to pretend that we're going to use them in just a few minutes. And then basically this is our finished product. So these have been sitting, I actually did let these sit overnight, and it was about the same volume. So I'll show you that. So we started with about this amount of volume, and this is what you're gonna end up with. So you've got the wasabi greens in here and the salt and sugar. The next step is that you wanna take your wasabi greens out, because you want to rinse them before eating, or they're going to taste too salty and sugary. So before eating, you rinse them. And this is just a colander. So I have a colander, and I'm just gonna, if you're in your kitchen, obviously do this at the sink. But we're just gonna pour some clean, fresh water over the greens. You can always use your hands and unclump them. Make sure you get as much sugar or salt out as you want. Obviously, if you rinse them and they still taste salty and sugary, then rinse them again. So we've got our rinsed greens, and we'll just pour the water off here. And then this is our finished product. So you can see they've softened, and they look almost like they've been cooked, but it's actually the salt and the sugar that's at work. So they have a softer texture. They're slightly flavored with the salt and sugar. They're going to be just slightly spicy because they're wasabi greens, but it's not going to be overwhelming. But they still have that just a little tiny bit of crunch to them, so it's not like you're eating really mushy, overcooked vegetables. They make a great side for all sorts of things. Again, really quick, salt and sugar, 20 minutes is the shortest version, and you have pickled wasabi greens. Thanks so much.